Hello, everyone. So, today I want to talk about the ego and the self, and also, furthermore, how everything in our lives is a relationship. But I think first I need to dive into the self and the ego because we often have this conception that we uh, we have an I, a self that's encapsulated in this human body that is detached from everything around us. Well, I want you there. There's a couple things with that. So, for the first thing, when you partake in meditation, this is exactly what meditation helps you realize is that your thoughts aren't even your thoughts. It's the unconscious mind. I'm pushing. It's well, you can say it the monkey mind, but on the unconscious mind pushing thoughts out your way, and you're actually responding. Your consciousness is actually responding to that if you allow it, or you can allow it to burst by. But that's the same with feelings, emotions, uh, your unconscious thoughts. Is there's things that are practically they're internal inside yourself, but they act externally. They're like things that are coming at you and at you. They're just inside your head. You don't realize it because your head is your head, and you think it's your our responsibility for them, but it's not. Your feelings, your emotions, your unconscious thoughts. They're all products of your brain and also a part of your body. Your pain is part of your nervous system and your or, whole body reacting to its biological nature. And it's us with our one consciousness and then our independent will and imagination and self-aware, mainly our self-awareness and independent will, to look at that and say, oh wow, my body is hurting right now. I accept that as it is and make my reaction thus forth. Of course, you get hit in the uh, you get hit in the face with a baseball bat, you're gonna say fucking ow. Or you're gonna grunt or you're gonna say something, but your immediate reaction afterwards is your conscious reaction to it. It's how you're reacting to the pain, how you're reacting to the feeling of getting hit by someone with a baseball bat. You're contending with all the unconscious thoughts, speeding through your mind saying, beat the shit out of that guy. He just hit you in the fucking face. But we have the ability to choose our own attitude in any given circumstance. And that's what it means by going beyond your ego, going beyond the self. You're not just your or your thoughts, your unconscious thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings are not part of you, of your consciousness. They're not. They're almost devoid, and it's your relationship. See how I connected there. Your relationship with them that ultimately matters as in your decision on how you go about the world. Um, all the, um, um, um. But yeah, and then I'm listening to Waking Up by Sam Harris. I I enjoy parts of it. I don't enjoy other parts of it, but there's some enlightening things in it. And it's one thing was your state of consciousness. Uh, lo and behold, so we all know about the two hemispheres of the brain. Well, what I just learned is that There's thing I forgot the fibers, but there's uh, nerve fibers that connect the two hemispheres of the brain. And if you disconnect those and then do tests, you actually find out that the left side of your brain is conscious and the right side of your brain is conscious as well. The right side is more of the feeling, the left side is more of the words. So you say, I think the experiment was as it someone showed this side of no. Crap, what was it? Man, I forgot the experiment. It was pretty cool though. I'm not going to say, hey, false information. But they pretty much discovered that there's two sides of the brain. They both have their own consciousness in a way, observing the world with their own awarenesses. And that if you clip them back together, or they become your consciousness as well. So it's like even your brain has its own mode of function that you have to deal with as well. But besides the point, I probably shouldn't have brought that up. But besides the point, with knowing that, what you are comes down to your relationships. And it's not just your relationship with others, it's also your relationship to yourself. So, like we said, your thoughts, feelings, emotions are something that's you can't control. They come on you. So, it's your relationship between, okay, how are you going to react when you feel pain? How are you going to react when you feel the sadness as in yourself? It's the relationship between your consciousness or your awareness of the situation and your independent will and your self-awareness to those external feelings and internal of pressures, the internal pressures of feeling sadness. Well, how are you going to react in that situation? How are you going to react to someone flicking you off? Because that's going to be a burst of anger that you have to deal with. And it's that relationship you have to deal with, and it's your reaction to that relationship that matters. And extend so with yourself, relationship with yourself, your body, with your unconscious thoughts, and also manipulating your unconscious thoughts. And I don't mean that in the present tense. I literally can't and tell my brain, okay, we're going to start thinking of this. But what I have noticed through my life is that the repeated actions and the repeated conscious thoughts or conscious things you say, if done repeatedly, if the single actions and the single statements you say, you do repeatedly, you're kind of overriding your unconscious brain to start thinking that way. Like, or thinking and acting like that way. Like that. Like, for example, I hold the door open for almost everyone. I don't even have to think about it now. I just kind of see a person open the door. And then I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this. But the reason why I'm doing it is because I've conditioned myself so many times to hold the door open for someone. Now, let's go to something more obscure, something like gratitude. So if you say or write out something you're grateful for every day, and maybe even more, or do it every time before or a certain act. So for me, that's eating. Before I eat my meals, say something I'm grateful for. You condition your mind into a point that you do it so repeatedly, it becomes habitual, even to your unconscious. So, that's not to say you're always going to be grateful, but you're going to lean more to the side of gratitude. Your unconscious mind, sorry, your unconscious mind is going to lean more to the sides of gratitude than it is non-gratitude. If it's kind of like it's kind of like two fish. If you feed your gratitude fish, it's going to keep ape alive. And if you don't feed your complaining and annoying fish, it's going to die. But it'll still be there. Still like, nasty. But, and then, of course, its body is still all going through decay, all that stuff. But with the thing that's going to be alive, that's going to be animate, that's going to react to you, is your gratitude fish. Now, if you do the exact opposite, if you complain all the time, if you not unconsciously think it, mind you, because your unconscious will do whatever it wants before you kind of condition it to be more grateful. But even in that state, your unconscious will do whatever the hell it wants. But you can make it lean towards a different way. Anyway, is if you start being complaining all the time, actually saying and being ungrateful, then you're feeding that other fish, the ungrateful fish, and that one's going to be more lively. So, your brain is going to be more alive with ungratitude, not being ungrateful. There you go, ungrateful. So more times than not, you're going to have unconscious thoughts that are ungrateful. For me, doing this exercise of gratitude consistently, there's just some times where I just think these weird, random, grateful thoughts. Sometimes I'm just sitting down, looking out at the sky or the trees, and I just say, "Wow, I'm just grateful to be alive. Wow, I'm grateful that there's a night and day, because I get to see these beautiful colors on the tree, and they change colors, and I'm so grateful for that." And it's like, I think about it, I'm like, well, I'm not thinking that. My unconscious just kind of like arose and gave it to me, and then I said it. Of course, like I said, it's not we're not all, your unconscious isn't always grateful. There is still times where I want to be like, fuck you. But I made it, one, a habit, and two, fed my grateful unconscious mind so that it starts leaning towards the idea of gratitude. But that's, going back, a relationship. It's the relationship I have with my unconscious. It's what I'm feeding it all the time. That's why you need to pay attention to the things you consistently read, the things you consistently consume. Like, what television and shows are you watching? What movies, what books, what social media accounts are you taking in? Because that conscious accumulation of information slowly deforms, or forms is a better word, just forms your unconscious mind. And that's the relationship you have with your unconscious. And you can ignore it, or you can deal with it. it's gonna be a relationship either way. But yeah. So you have a relationship with yourself. Of course, you have a relationship with others. I'm not gonna get into that, but and then you also have a relationship to life and to existence and to, for lack of a better word, the cosmos, because that is understanding the cosmos of the universe or our life and existence will be something that you have to cultivate it in yourself, the relationship you have to cultivate in yourself. Just think about Christians and, well, any of the Abrahamic religions. Whenever you actually listen to them, they talk about having a relationship with God. And you're like, that's weird. Like God is not a person like us. Uh, we have symbols to represent God, but God is practically infinity. It's in Abrahamic religions, it's omniscient, it's omnipresent, that He's everywhere and everything. We just have symbols just so we can somewhat like relate to it. But they have a relationship with God, and for me, or you kind of, um, I think for your relationships, you have to find kind of your relationship with life, the universe, and the cosmos. And another relationship you can cultivate to be able to nourish that is science. Science and does a wonderful job of explaining life, biology, explaining the universe, so astronomy, and then the cosmos, so cosmology, and then also all the other sciences as well. And for some people, that's good. That's good enough for understanding their relationship with the universe and the cosmos. And they probably won't say it's divine, but it's definitely something spiritual. If you start getting into cosmology, and well, maybe not even spiritual, but spiritual is such a loaded word. Reverent. Something reverent. There's kind of an awe to it. It's kind of like the sublime. So that's kind of their relationship with the outer existence, and I think that's fine. It's if that gives them inner peace with their existence and their world, and they've cultivated a good relationship with it. Sounds weird, but that's exactly what you're doing with the stars and galaxies. Is you're are understanding their existence to further understand your own knowledge of the world, but also your own existence and your own being in this world. Cosmology is all about understanding, like, where we came from, where the universe came from, and how we got here. So, it's a relationship in that sense. Is that there's that connection you're making with the objects you're interacting with. And yeah, so those are the main relationships, and I think that's the basis for most of your life, and also the basis for identity for people is their relationships. I'm a father. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. I'm a brother. I'm a scientist. I'm a lawyer. I'm a this. I'm a that. And blah 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 blah. So, we want to be able to convolt, uh, be able to cultivate healthy relationships. And I think the first thing you have to do with cultivating a healthy relationship, or if you want a healthy self, not big S, but if you want to have a healthy relationship with life, let's say that relationship with life, is you got to understand at the basis that aside from, not aside, you at your core, whether you're black, white, brother, sister, or mother, or cosmologist, Scientologist, Christian, Muslim, this, that, other, whatever other relationship you have, I think at the core, in your core, there has to be the unconscious understanding that you're first and foremost a human being. And you're like, of course I'm a human being. No. Like, you are being. You're a being in this reality. Your relationship is with this reality and life. And as much as you might hate it, as much as you might love it, as much as you might be indifferent to it, as much as you have any other feelings towards it, you're existing in this world. And you're being and becoming in the canvas that is life. So whether you accept it or not, you're going to have to accept it to live. And I think that's what I mean by you have to be a human being. You have to accept yourself as a human being, which means accepting life as it is. And once you do that, I think it's a lot easier to walk through life because your or other identities, the relationship you form, so a relationship like father, mother, or daughter, Christianity, Muslim, whatever, this and that, things can happen and you can be betrayed, you can lose all you have. Think about the people in the Holocaust. Viktor Frankl lost all his wife and all his family and friends, so he's no longer really a friend. He's not a husband, he's not a father. He might still feel their love, but his identity and all that is gone. But what does he have in his core? Well, he has himself. He has at his core the meaning of being a human being, and that's existing in this world. And if you accept that, then you can properly, exist and live and do what is necessary to get, I would say, on the path of perfect virtue, of getting on a path of virtue and going forth, because you've accepted that this is your life. And once you do that, you realize everyone else is in this life with you as well, whether they accept it or not. So you want them to live, want them to stay alive, you want them to prosper. So yeah, 24 minutes, freaking wild. But this is something I just wrote about and thought about. So still fresh on my mind, things I want to think about. Anyways, bye-bye, y'all.